I'd like to call this meeting of the Stuart Community Redevelopment Agency to order at 4:42 p.m. Mr. Dias, would you please read the statement?
Yes, sir. This will be the community redevelopment meeting on June 22nd, starting at 4:42 p.m. Pursuant to Executive Order Number 20-69, issued by the Office of Governor Ron DeSantis on March 20th, 2020. Municipalities may conduct meetings of their governing boards without having a quorum of its members present physically or at any specific location, and utilizing communication media technology such as telephonic or video conferencing, as provided by Florida Statute 120.54. Procedures for public comment. If you wish to speak during public comment times, click raise hand at the bottom of the window during the item you wish to speak on. Your microphone will be unmuted. When you are called to speak, your microphone will be deactivated once your speaking time expires. By telephone, press *9 to raise your hand. You will be called by your partially displayed phone number, so please listen for that number. The host will unmute and mute your call after your speaking time is expired. Please state your name and address prior to giving your public comment. Board members and commissioners are asked to advise whether they are here in person or attending remotely when the roll is called.
Thank you, Mr. Dias. Ms. Kendall, will you call the roll, please?
Chairperson Meyer.
Here in person.
Vice Chairperson Clark.
Here in person.
Board Member Bruner.
Here in person.
Board Member Matheson.
Here in person.
Board Member Wilson.
Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. Do I see a motion for approval of the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion for approval of the minutes by Board Member Matheson and a second by Vice Chairperson Clark. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Moving on to comments from the public. If anybody would like to speak on our CRA meeting, please fill out a green card with Ms. Kindle. Mr. Dias, are there any online?
Anyone online who would like to give public comment, please click raise your hand. Seeing none, sir.
Thank you, sir. Are there any comments from the board members?
No comment.
Vice Chairperson?
No, just Mr. Gary's coming for.
Okay, we'll move on to a presentation on our second grant cycle for our BURP program for the fiscal year 2019-2020. Ms. Gandhi Savdas.
Thank you. Good afternoon. This is Panal Gandhi Savdas, CRA Administrator for the record. This is a presentation for the second grant cycle for the Business Improvement Grant Program. The first grant cycle was available from October to November, and we received 2 applications during that time, and both were awarded grants. Since there was a funding balance of $30,000, the board approved the second grant cycle to reopen, and that was open from February through May, and we received 3 applications during that cycle, and all the applications and details were provided in your agenda package. Just a brief background about the program. It's an incentive program. It's designed to encourage visible improvements to exterior of commercial buildings. This way, it's to encourage the business owners to invest into their property so that, the CRA can increase in TIF revenue and we can reinvest back into the community. The program is consistent with the CRA plan. CRAs throughout the state administer similar type of programs, and it provides CRA to increase property values and, again, increase in TIF revenue for the CRA. The program is a reimbursement of 50% of the total project cost, not to exceed $10,000. It must meet eligibility criteria of the program, and any businesses within the CRA can apply for the program, and they must meet the criteria that are provided in the program. Typically, we use these criteria to score the applications. However, at the last meeting, the CRA directed staff to remove any scoring requirements if the request for grant does not exceed the available funds. The first application is Abbey Salon. It is located at the corner of Osceola and Denver Avenue. The address is 48 Southeast Osceola Street. The applicant is requesting to replace obsolete windows and doors to allow more energy efficient windows and doors. The total project cost is $21,261. The applicant is qualified to receive up to $10,000 for this project. They will be replacing approximately 30 windows with impact windows and a new front door, and all of this will be fronting the streets. They will be removing Bahama shutters to bring the building back to its original form and provide the historic appearance that it originally had, eliminate outdated look and improve the exterior appearance of the structure. It'll help to lower the energy bill and save money to the property owner so that they could reinvest back into the property. At the CRB meeting, the board voted 3-3 with no recommendation for this applicant. They discussed planting shade trees in either the right-of-way or on private property as a condition of approval. The applicant did provide a survey with location of 3 proposed trees on this property. The second application is the Sade Group. It's an office building located at 477 Southeast Riverside Drive. This application is for installation of balcony deck, stairways, and with a roof structure in the rear of the building. Here you see existing rear view and rendering of proposed improvements. Again, you can see the deck and stairways that'll lead to the balcony with the roof structure, and these will be the additional elements to the existing building. The lowest cost estimate for this project was $154,450. The applicant is qualified to receive up to $10,000. The project will improve the exterior appearance of the structure. The added deck balcony will be visible from Illinois Avenue, the hospital, and St. Lucie River. The proposed balcony does further implement the urban code requirements, and the project will preserve the historic property. It's known as the Smith House. It was built in 1939. And the CRB voted 5-1 to approve and award for $10,000 for this application. The third applicant is Stuart Plaza. This property is located at 1205 Southwest Dixie Cutoff Road. The applicant is requesting to remove the existing pole sign and replace it with a monument sign. The lowest cost estimate for this project is $9,765. The applicant is qualified to receive 50% of that, which is $4,882. Here you see the conceptual of what the monument sign will look like. So they'll be removing non-conforming pole signs and replacing it with a monument sign. It'll be positive impact on the business and add value to the property, and it's more attractive. At this time, staff is requesting the CRA board to evaluate each application and provide final recommendation. And the next grant cycle will open in October once the new budget year is approved.
Thank you, Ms. Gandhi Sabdas. Okay, board members, so why don't we take these one at a time? We'll go forward with the Abyss Salon. So I understand that because the applicant has provided that site plan with additional locations for trees, that they are willing to plant trees as part of this grant.
That's condition of approval, correct?
Mr. Chair, one quick question for Ms. Gandhi Sabas. The 3 applicants were all, did we have any other applicants apply and not finish the application process?
No, we received all that.
That was,
Yeah.
the only amount was 3 applied, okay. I'm interested to know what type of trees are proposed.
The applicants, yeah.
And
Sir,
the
if you'd state your name for the
approximate
record.
size.
Hello, I'm Charles Gary. I'm the trustee for the owner of the property. We talked about shade trees. I could plant whatever staff would like me to plant. You know, I would like to plant maybe oak so it looked like the rest of the trees, but I could plant a shade tree as well. It's a corner lot, and we're proposing to put it on both streets. So that's the best location what we showed, but whatever looks best with the street. I'm completely open-minded, you know, so oak is what I would prefer.
The rest of the street has oak in my mind.
Like the ones we took out.
Not in my mind, it does.
Yeah, like the ones you took out.
I wasn't up here,
So, any
Thank you,
other-
sir.
Thanks, Chuck.
but good point.
We vote on,
Yeah, we'll vote on each one. So I'll entertain a motion for approval if so.
I move approval of the Abbey Salon, request for the $10,000.
On each one.
With the condition of the 3 shade
Yes.
trees.
Yes, with the conditions.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion by Vice Chairperson Clark and a second by Board Member Bruner. I will just say that I've made it clear that I am not in favor of using this grant program for windows, but I am interested in the shade aspect. And I also understand that historically this is the way it has been done. So I am in favor of this particular grant.
Public comment.
Is there any public comment on this motion?
If there's any public comment online, please raise your hand now. See none, sir.
Seeing none, with money, Ms. Kindle, will you call the roll, please?
Board Member Matheson,
Yes.
Board Member Bruner,
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Clark,
Yes,
Chairperson Meyer.
Yes, motion carries unanimously. Moving on to the SAID group, which is a proposal for an exterior balcony deck stairs roof in the rear of the building. I understand that the CRB recommended this 5-1. For me, unfortunately, as nice as that structure looks, I can't in good conscience approve it because it is in the rear of the building. I know it would be visible from the river, but I think we're really stretching it here. But I appreciate the attempt.
I would like to comment on I think there's a time where we need to come together and get a workshop on this, on the 3 different ones. I will make a motion to approve this, but I would like us to do a workshop because for a couple of years now, I've been what I've been asking and wanting to do, and hopefully maybe we'll get there, is to up the money and get some good buildings revamped, redone. I don't know how much money, but I would like to have a workshop, even if it's 30 or 40 and the old building's falling down and they fix it up. I'd like to see that.
I'm right there with you,
Not the windows.
board member. So maybe after we vote on the 3, let's talk about that just a bit.
Okay.
second,
I have a motion by Board Member Bruner and a second by Vice Chairperson Clark. Is there any further discussion on this board?
It just, in my mind, I can't just limit public view to the road. I've got to factor in the river and
Yeah.
the benefit. You know, the rear of this building is viewable from a public location. So, and this is also a fairly large scale project with the cost of it and what we would be contributing to the CRA.
Yes, sir.
yeah, Mr. Mayor. I
Duly
was going to
noted.
say that during my second also, that I seconded because it has some historic value and because of the aesthetics. I know that we probably need to do some work in trying to figure out how we have some more criteria and funding, but I think that I'm going along with this project.
Is there, there's a public comment here in the room? If you would, sir, just fill out a green card with Ms. Kindle when you're done, but you can approach and please give us your name for the
My
record.
name's Scott Sade. I own the property, and I just wanted to explain. From the side there, we're standing at Illinois Park, which is the park that looks directly at what I'm planning to do. Also from the hospital, all of the rooms in the hospital look directly at my building. Currently, the back half is kind of cracking and falling down. I'm gonna have to jack it up and fix it. I'm adding the roof and stairs right now. The only stairs to the building, to the upstairs, are either internal or there's a metal fire escape on the back side of the building that's not visible that I'll be able to get rid of that monstrosity and put nice concrete stairs, which will be visible from the street from Illinois. And I just think it's a beautiful project and will be seen by both the river and the street and the hospital.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I believe it's going to be beautiful too.
Sir, there is a public comment online.
Yes, I have one public commenter, Mr. Campani.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair. It's not about this particular one, but in general, since you were talking about a workshop, the CRB has asked that we have a workshop on this program to sort of tighten it up, I think. So if you wanted to do it as a joint workshop, that would be great. Or if you wanted the CRB to go first and present how they think it should be tightened up to the CRA, whatever. I just wanted to make you aware of that. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Seeing no further public comment, Ms. Kendall, will you call the roll, please?
Board Member Brunner,
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Clark,
Yes.
Board Member Matheson,
Yes.
Chairperson Meyer.
No. Motion carries 3-1 with chairperson dissenting. Finally, the Stuart Plaza, congratulations, sir. The Stuart Plaza, which, would you kindly bring that up for us to view, Ms. Connie Sabdas? Proposal to replace an out of non-conforming pole sign with a monument sign. I understand the code change and the need to, it could be a significant cost to a business to comply with new code. This makes a lot of sense. Do I further discussion or have a motion for approval?
I'll motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by Board Member Matheson and a second by Vice Chairperson Clark. Any further discussion?
Is the applicant here?
Looks like no. Is there any public comment on this before we take a vote?
No, sir.
Seeing none here, seeing none on Zoom. Ms. Kendall, will you call the roll, please?
Board Member Brunner,
Yes.
Board Member Matheson,
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Clark,
Yes.
Chairperson Meyer.
Yes, motion carries unanimously. On to your earlier point there, Board Member. I agree, and with what Board Member, or perhaps future Board Member Campenny had to say, perhaps we could direct staff to organize a joint workshop. I think that might be the most efficient. That way we don't have to have a meeting with the CRB alone and then us and then perhaps another.
I agree.
Volley back. So does that require a motion or is that sufficient for staff direction to organize a joint
When's your
meeting?
next joint meeting?
2 months out.
Well, the next
Every
grant cycle
quarter.
won't begin until October.
Right, but we want to get it done before we do our, our budgeting process, our fiscal cycle. So sooner we can get that done, the better. That way we know what we're budgeting
Is it
for.
enough time to try to do it for the July CRA meeting?
I can put together something, yeah.
I think a discussion and deliberation item, just to, discuss it.
Well, my problem, it's my problem. I want to go to Kentucky in July, and we've got a couple other meetings and our budget meetings, and July just might be really tough.
I think you're back for that commission meeting though, and so the CRA would be prior to the commission meeting.
Okay.
It would be on the day
The
of that
beginning of July, maybe?
July
The
20th.
third week of
It'd
July.
be the
July
second
20th.
regular meeting, before the second regular meeting, the fourth Monday, right?
Around here? Okay.
And even though it's a regular CRA, maybe we can invite the CRB members who want to attend to.
And we can attend via Zoom.
Yeah.
Oh.
None of us have.
You can
but-
zoom in.
Drive it down.
Maybe
I'll
not.
have to chair, I'll have to be here to chair, but
If it's after July 8th and the governor doesn't extend the order,
Oh.
she can't.
she can.
She can.
No,
She can
You have
attend.
the present quorum
The
here.
governor's order allowing commissioners to appear
Is it
online expires on July 8th.
8? Yeah.
Okay.
He may extend it,
Right.
but I'm just,
No,
public
that's okay.
appearing by electronic means can go on forever. But commissioners appearing, it's restricted unless the governor enters an order allowing it. Right now, we have an order allowing it, but that order is currently scheduled to expire July 8th.
Not to split hairs, but Isn't that a matter of what our own code and charter contains? Do we
State
not
statute
contemplate that?
State statute requires meetings to occur in City Hall, and our charter review and our charter mandates, we've gone down the electronic thing
Right.
before, and we've mandated that right now, our charter, our code requires you to be a.
You have to be
Right.
present in person to be a,
That's why we've never.
Well, I might,
And the state law, I'm sorry, requires quorum has to be present.
Right.
I might have to wait to go to Kentucky because this is really important to me and I really want to be a part of fixing this and we can get some good jobs out of it, I hope.
It's the end of July.
And architecture.
talking about
Okay.
July 27th.
That was a joint meeting.
I'll be there and back.
Ms. Kindle? I'm sorry, Ms. Kindle has a,
Sorry, I was thinking July, I don't have the calendar in front of me, but I thought July was a joint CRA, CRB. Isn't it?
July
July
27th.
27th is a joint meeting, I thought.
Okay.
Yes.
I
Thank
have to
you.
look back, but I'll double check and check, I get back.
Because I thought
Okay.
this
Have
was
that on my
a joint
calendar.
meeting and we
well, I'm sure we'll get it sorted out.
Thank
So,
you, everybody.
thanks, everybody.
There's one more thing.
Yes,
When we're doing this, and I was thinking of all the old homes Mr. Vattel is, some that were just gonna get torn down because of bugs and everything, termites, and what all he's done. I mean, he's brought them down the river, he's brought them in the middle of the night over US 1. It's amazing, and I would like to see others that, maybe if they had that incentive or needed a little extra, that they didn't have all of it, that they could take one of these places. If it's business, and we might even look into old homes or whatever. But anyway, it's inspiring when you see the work and the things that have been redone around here. And I thank you all for coming, and that's what it's for. We appreciate it, fixing them up.
thanks, board member. Just to clarify, the CRB still acts also as the Historic Preservation Board, right?
Correct.
So that's a great idea. Maybe we can sort of discuss that aspect of this program or a new program.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any other discussion for the purposes of this board before we adjourn?
Was it-
You have one more item.
Well, we have one more item, but we have,
Oh, we do.
but I didn't say anything during the first thing, but because I was waiting for these 3 items to come up and kind of have similar comment like Becky. I know that we have these $10,000 grants, but I'm really interested in trying to see some kind of a economic hub or something, especially in the East Stewart area, to try to see how you can engender them. Or maybe if we're making different pockets of grants in the future, something that's more on the historic preservation line or to deal with an existing business. But even just new businesses coming up. I know that our forecast from the budget workshop wasn't that exciting, but we're getting a little bit of money in that area, and that money from that area doesn't have to be spent in that area. All of the CRA money can be used within the CRA area. So I'm just hoping that maybe we can come up with a plan and idea to say we want people, especially in this area, to look towards doing some kind of economic, maybe it will be a small engine to start something. So I wanted to do that, to see if we can put that in some kind of a project thing for the next year.
So that could be part of the
Yeah.
discussion.
And when we have our budget, we can say it's gonna be a pot of money to try, and hopefully people will apply for it specifically for those reasons.
I'm interested in that as well. Thank you, Vice Chairperson. Okay, is there a staff update before we move on to the agenda item number 4?
Did you want to give the presentation?
No, I will. He's asking if there's a regular staff update.
No, there's no other updates. Sorry.
Thank you, Ms. Gandhi-Sabas. Okay, we'll move on to item number 4, the purchase of the Wells Fargo property. Mr. Mortelli, read the resolution into the record.
This is resolution number 06-2020 of the CRA. It's a resolution of the Board of Community Redevelopment Agency of the City of Stuart, Florida, authorizing budget amendment number 2 to the fiscal year 2020 CRA budget to transfer funds from the CRA fund balance for the purchase and acquisition of 325 Southeast Ocean Boulevard and 330 Southeast Osceola Street in the amount of $1 million for the redevelopment of the properties, providing for conflicts, severabilities, providing for an effective date, and for other purposes.
Thank you, Mr. Mortel. Mr. Dias?
Mr. Mayor, this is a joint purchase project of all three of the pieces of property up on your screen that are highlighted in blue. The two pieces of property to the right, which make up the 330 Osceola and the 325 Southeast Ocean, we are proposing be purchased by the $1 million from the CRA fund balance for a future redevelopment project. There are some leaseholds in that strip plaza. I believe there's 2 in there, so we'd have to examine when their lease would be up. I think they're very short-term leases though. And then we could workshop the idea of what those redevelopment projects would be with the CRB and the CRA. Like I said, this is a joint purchase venture, which you have another item on your next agenda for the balance, but these 2 specific would be a redevelopment project.
So they don't have tenants currently, do they?
There's
1
I
or
think
2, right?
There's two in there. I believe there's 5 slots, but I believe the 2 are occupied.
What do the leases look like on those? How far out?
I believe they're 1-year leases.
1 year?
They had expired and had to get permission from us to renew, and I think we did a 1-year renewal on each of
And
those.
I know that the actual revenue from the leases in the building itself were not used to contemplate the value of the property because the condition of the building is the length of the term.
Right.
Well,
Do we have any other questions, or is there a motion?
I
this
move to
is,
approve.
this is what the CRA is meant for.
Absolutely.
To improve these buildings and structures like this.
All you
So,
have to do is motion.
Commissioner Bruner,
I said I move to approve.
second.
Okay, I beg your pardon. I have a motion by board member Bruner and a second by board member Matheson. Any further discussion on this board before we take a vote? Seeing none, any public comment on this item?
See none online.
Seeing none here.
Oh, I'm sorry, I have a hand raised. Mr. Campani?
Do you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I just want to say this is exactly why we have a CRA. And so I think this is a great project. It will enhance the CRA. It will enhance business. It's moving downtown in the right direction. So I'm not voting on this, but I'm very happy that the CRA is voting to approve this. I think it'll be another home run eventually, just like Azul is. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, here.
I agree with him. And in our last meeting, people had thought that, we just jumped on it, made a decision right then. This has been in the works for going back and forth, and it's all talking with the manager and the attorney for, what, a year and a half?
Year at least.
Yeah, so I wanted to voice that. Thank you.
Thank you. Duly noted. Ms. Kindle, will you call a roll, please?
Vice Chairperson Clark,
Yes.
Board Member Bruner,
Yes.
Board Member Matheson,
Yes.
Chairperson Meyer.
Yes, motion carries unanimously. And if there is nothing else, with that, we will adjourn at 5:11.
For those online, our next meeting starts at 5:30.